All right, everybody, welcome to Season 1, Episode 6 of Stoked, the Star Trek Online podcast / awesome show.
Yeah.
My name is Brian. With me is Jeremy.
That's me.
And way to my left is Chris.
Hey there, Brian.
So, all right, let's just dive right into it.
Well, let's tease.
Let's
folks,
tease
so
what we're
they-
going to talk about a little bit.
No. I want to dive right into it.
Too bad.
Let's dive right into it with a tease.
Was I just overruled
You were
and now
preempted.
we're teasing? All right, you know what? Go ahead.
Let me
Jeremy,
just tell you.
Take it away with a tease.
Let me tell you what we've got for you.
Okay,
We've got
I'm
a
excited.
Couple different interviews with Craig Zinkovich, the executive producer.
Yeah.
From both
Nice.
Eurogamer and Trek Movie. We've got tidbits from a dev chat that was held on October 8th
Okay,
in
nice.
the IRC channel. A Russian website did an interview with David Stahl, who is our homie. He's the one that gave us a preview of Stowe over at PAX and let us
Yeah.
take game shots and all that great stuff. So
Oh, man. We've got some great news. Zam's got
Yeah.
a bunch of new exclusive screenshots that look epic.
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, now we can dive into it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's dive into the stuff that Zing talks about at Trek Movie first.
Okay.
So what do we got?
Actually, on the scale of awesome for this week, this is lower, so that's okay. We'll
You know-
ramp
no, no,
up
no,
to the better
no, no,
stuff.
No, I
later
think
on.
we ramp
No,
up to the
forget
good
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Forget
Let's
it.
say. No, let's
Forget
ramp.
it.
No,
Forget
okay.
it. Let's do the awesome first.
You sure? Because I think what we want to save to the end is pretty big.
I think I've been overruled. So you guys just go ahead and do your thing, and I'm gonna sit here and drink a Dr. Pepper.
All right, we'll let you know.
because I would like to be.
Jeremy will hit you in the ribs when we want you to say something, monkey.
Right.
Go.
All right.
Sweet.
So from Trek Movie, we got a little more information from Zinc, including that there will be some sort of a crafting system in the game, but it's not going to actually be
I hope I
comparable
can make
with other
necklaces.
MMOs. No, you won't be able
So
to.
it's not like
can I
it's
make a
not
bag?
like it's like crafting like my skill of using a tricorder or what?
No, crafting is actually, it sounds like it's going to be more like when you go somewhere and you explore, you bring back scans of new technology, you can upload
Okay.
them into the memory
and use a replicator to build them.
and use a replicator to rebuild them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's way better
So
than
you-
building a bag.
So you build a pattern, like you get the pattern that you download into the computer.
That's right.
I like that. That's a cool way to do it.
I'm gonna be straight. If they do have bag crafting in Star Trek Online, I'm going to revolt. I think that's it.
What if it's a bag to hold the little earpieces of all the dead Bajorans?
Oh,
Well,
that-
then it's all right.
Yeah, we all need one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
I might
Then when
need
they're
two.
stupid,
I mean, you
ugly
gotta have one
noses.
anyways.
Good
Right.
lord.
So, okay.
So
All
another
right.
thing he mentioned was he confirmed some currency, what would you call that, terminology.
Yeah.
There will be Latinum used in the game for like
Did he mention
cross-faction.
anything about Federation credits?
Yeah, the other forms of currency are merit, which is, like we mentioned before, that's going to be used to get your new spaceships and upgrades for them most likely. And the third form of currency is credits, energy credits.
Oh, okay.
Like replicator credits, which have been mentioned in a few episodes. And
Interesting. So you won't have unlimited use of the replicator.
no, it doesn't sound that way. And actually, remember when we were at PAX and you kind of stumbled on this little user interface where you could buy some Earl Grey tea?
Yeah.
It did have a price.
Yeah, it did.
It
and
did.
that price was probably energy credits.
So if I have, let's say, just theoretically, I have like a Earl Grey habit. Right. I have to have my Earl Grey hot. I might blow all of my replicator credits on that.
And we would
You
have to
might,
have an
yeah.
intervention.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm probably going to need to borrow some credits. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's probably going to have to happen.
Some other good things from this is that he confirmed one of the names or, I don't know, designations of one of the fleet actions coming. These are the Raidisodes, the big fleet where you're
Epic.
going to have epic numbers of
Yeah.
ships. This is at Starbase 24, which that doesn't ring any bells to me. So maybe this is something that they invented out of whole cloth. But it basically,
so.
he gave us the brief rundown that the Starbase is being attacked by, quote, over 100 Klingon ships.
Whoa.
Awesome. And your
That's
job is to
epic.
Brian,
your job is to first fend off the Klingons
Yeah.
and then board the station and get some information because the Starbase is going to go down.
Wow.
And so you need to like download their computer core and get out of there before it's taking over. So
Okay.
just to derail
I
a little
really
bit.
want to do that, by the way. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
To derail a little
seriously.
bit, there was a shot, I think it's one of the Zam shots that shows like a Klingon Zerg. It's ground combat, but there's like 20 Klingons coming at you. And that's the
You
one.
thinking of
that's
this
the
one?
Is
Yeah,
that
okay.
Zam?
Yeah, this is on Zam.
Yeah.
All right,
So this
We'll
Klingon shot, we'll explain it for people listening to the audio version.
Yeah, but there's basically like 3 or 4 Federation dudes that are just getting their butts handed to them. There's probably a dozen.
Yeah, just a flood of Klingons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just overwhelming them. And actually, I don't know if we want to go too far into this because the shot is just, there's so much detail in this shot.
It looks gorgeous.
Things
Yeah, it looks great.
That can key us off to mechanics that will be in the game. For example, there's one chick getting thrown against a wall in the back, so we know that there are going to be some knockback effects. There's a dude that's like kneeling in the middle of the combat, and I think he just saw too many Klingons. He's like, I'm getting out of here, because he's got like a transporter effect around him. So
yeah, it looks pretty good though, and it looks again like they specifically are paying attention to ambient lighting. There's some red lights along the side. It's casted red glow on the floor, and then the shadows are look appropriate because we've made comments once or twice about shadows before.
They did a nice job. It looks really good.
Yeah,
really good.
So I like that. All right, so back on track here.
Yeah, back to the Zink interview, the last little tidbit from the Trek movie thing is that he did mention, okay, this is a direct quote, you can't make a Trek game without going back in time. Leading on from this quote, we can first of all imply that we might be able to meet the cast of the original series.
Well, now were you there when I talked to the guy at PAX who said there will be a Questisode where you go back to the original series timeline?
Yeah.
And your original series equipment, gear, uniform, ships.
Yeah, uniforms.
That's going to be killer awesome.
That's pretty cool. Though, just to be clear, Star Trek 25th Anniversary, great game, didn't go back in time.
Well, okay.
Oh, you're arguing his point about not being able to make a great Star Trek game?
I'm just saying, the best Star Trek game ever made, Star Trek 25th Anniversary,
Had no time travel.
had no time travel.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Because it had what I like to call good story and play mechanics, so they didn't need time travel.
So you're saying you don't want to go back to the original series timeline?
No, I do. I want to follow that up, though, with the next little note here that Jeremy's got on his thing. So he says, and I quote, you can't make a Trek game without going back in time. That's followed it up by J.J. Abrams' content may be included later.
Yeah. They currently don't have any, but that the rights to that content was included with the IP that was
that's
transferred over to
interesting.
Cryptic. Yeah.
This is good to know.
Huh. Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Now keep in
That's
mind
fantastic.
keep in mind that the
Disgruntled.
STO that we will be playing takes place in the prime timeline, I think people call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, what is it, 20?
It takes place in what I like to call Star Trek.
2049?
Yeah,
2049?
it's called Star Trek.
It's like, it's 25 years after the
It doesn't
the
take
events of
place in
Nemesis.
Lost. It takes place in Star Trek. Doesn't take place in Alias. It takes place in Star Trek, not J.J. Abrams.
It doesn't have Spock and Uhura
Dagnabbit.
getting it on.
Dude, if I start playing this game and there's any mention of Spock and Uhura getting it on, I'm gonna do a desk flip. I'm just gonna flip it over and I'm gonna run out screaming. This is gonna be over with.
Well, that's pretty much all that Zink mentioned in this particular interview. We'll come back to him because
We have a little tidbit.
we have a pretty important tidbit that we will get to later.
Yep.
We're
All
just
right.
going to keep teasing you with it, though.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah.
Dev chat?
Let's talk about the dev chat.
Dev
Now,
chat.
These dev chats, they happen during the workday because, the Cryptic guys are at work. And our very own Jeremy quit his job so he could sit in on these dev chats and
right.
report back to you.
I made the sacrifice for you, our adoring fans.
So let's cover the best things from that dev chat.
I'll be honest, the dev chat was not very eventful, and part of this is because Cryptic is apparently suffering from some sort of horrible alien flu virus that's just...
A bunch of the staff are out.
Yeah. So the only people that were there was Recon and Awen, who are both community managers, basically.
Okay.
And they're the guys you'll see all over the forums. And apparently they're the only ones that aren't sick. So the few tidbits that we did get out of this... they're nice.
Man,
but
you quit your job for nothing.
I know. What a big letdown. The first one I want to mention, and this is, I think, something that we have to stick to forever. Don't call them bridge officers. Don't call them BOs. The new slang term is boff.
Boff.
Yeah, isn't that a slang phrase in like Britain for like having sex?
I love it.
So you like it a lot, then, is what you're saying.
We got to equip our boffs. We got to skill up our boffs.
Yeah.
We got to make our boffs skillful.
A lot of boffs on the bridge, eh?
Yeah.
I just
So
turned
that's
slightly
important.
Canadian.
No, that was a little bit Mayor Quimby. actually.
Was it still Mayor Quimby?
Yes.
It always is Mayor Quimby.
It's always Mayor Quimby with me. All right.
Yes.
They did also mention that the idea of implementing a captain's ready room is, quote, in the noodling stages.
Yes. Probably won't be in launch, but they probably will add it. And the captain's ready room will be like a spot where you can go chillax. I mean, I don't understand.
You probably invite your friends into the ready room, beam them over. And
Back in the Dizzle, you can go in there and chillax.
it's a good place to probably keep...
Can I build a hot tub or something like in The Sims?
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, why don't Why don't they have hot tubs on the Enterprise?
Dude, have you been wondering that too?
Where's all the hot
are
tubs?
the hot tubs?
Where are the hot tubs?
If I'm in space for that long, I want a freaking hot tub. I want it to be jetted. I want like
Yeah.
whirlpool, jacuzzi, awesome time.
Yeah,
and I'm
buddy.
going to invite all the ladies over.
Yeah, buddy.
And they're going to come and hang out in my hot tub.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Well, the
Space,
ready room,
space babes in the hot tub.
ready room is also a good place to mount
I call that
all
space
your,
soup, yo.
Bajoran earrings from all of your.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little.
All that you can craft yourself.
Well, no, you're not crafted. The ones that you take from
That you
the
pay
people
for
that
with
you
energy
impale with.
credits.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, what I'm gonna have is on my arm. I'm gonna have like a running little notch tattoo thing that I do.
Oh, yeah.
So like by the first week, I'll have like 15 dead Bajoran like marks on my arm,
Yeah.
and then I'll have to start on my other arm, and then once I get a ready room, once they introduce that, that's where I'll keep all the necklaces.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
earrings.
Right.
I'm just gonna
Earrings.
use the ready room for sexy parties.
What about killing Bajorans?
Dude, you don't want to overlap killing Bajorans with sexy parties, man. Like, those are two distinctly different times in a person's life.
Yeah, I like to combine my killing and sexy.
Dude, no. All
Sex and
week
violence
long,
in
you
one.
kill Bajorans. On the weekend, you're like, man, I just killed too many Bajorans this week. I want to have a
I
sexy
can see
party.
it now. Captain Brian, ladies, my ready room door is open anytime.
No, just the weekends.
Just the weekend.
When I'm not killing Bajorans.
Because when he's in business. he's
During
in
the
business.
week, that's time to get down to killing Bajoran.
you get it now.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right. So what else did we get? Anything else out of the dev chat?
They confirmed,
We got some respect.
they confirmed that respecs. Well, actually, what they said when somebody asked if you will be able to reallocate your skill points, basically, if you feel like you spent them incorrectly, all they were able to say is, "I hope so," which that leaves me a little leery.
What?
So
What do you mean they
no
hope
respec?
so?
There's a chance that there might not be a respec.
So you might
They-
just be hard set into it.
They hope that they can include it, but what they said is that they don't have any details about it, and they're not sure.
They haven't
how,
developed that functionality yet.
They're not sure
Well,
how
it's
to
in
incorporate
Champions
it.
now.
I know. There's
Yeah,
they
but it's a
said
different game. It's just the same engine.
right.
Yeah. But isn't that kind of like saying they put the Ford Taurus engine in the Jaguar Type X and they couldn't make reverse work?
No. That's kind of like saying they took the engine from the Ford Taurus, put in the Jaguar Type X, and then the CD player with a special jack in it just for the iPod wasn't magically there in the new car.
I don't know, but
It's an unrelated piece of functionality.
your skills and stuff, that's like a core functionality.
But
It
the
seems like-
skill system of STO
But they have to develop like a
different.
UI
Oh,
for it
yeah,
and
it
an
is
interface
a totally-
and it
yeah,
has
yeah.
to interact with
Oh,
the
well, it's a
database.
button. I mean, I
It's
think,
not just a
I
button.
think they could add it like
Honest-
that. But
Dude, no. It's going to take a couple
Interface-wise.
of guys working for a few months to make it work right.
It's
I
also
think
going to
I can see that because they had to re-engineer the skill system. But it still
It's not the
seems
same
like
code. They have to write new code.
all right. But okay, if you're taking the Taurus engine and you're going to put it in the Jaguar
My
Type
God,
X,
I am so glad you are not like a manager managing me as a developer.
No, hold on.
Because you'd be like,
At that
"What?
point-
what? Why don't you develop this new operating system?
Couldn't
This
you
other
just-
operating system has it. Why don't we just click a button and
when you're
everyone has
doing
those
that,
features?"
why wouldn't you just include when you're doing that the ability to respec at that point? Like,
Well-
why start down that without including?
Because
Well, I
it's
think-
extra work.
part of the reason I think is that it's also difficult to fit within the Star Trek universe. If you think
Yeah.
about people,
now you go down to sick bay and you're like,
You don't go down to sick pay to respec.
I need my memory.
When was
erased.
the last
That's what I'm
time
saying.
you went down to sick
Or
bay to
maybe
respec
you
in
go-
like the next generation?
Maybe you have to go visit the Betazoid planet
3
and have them
times.
wipe your memory.
3
you know,
times. Bull. BS.
or you meet
One
like a
time.
Vulcan
No.
ambassador
No,
who gives
no.
you a mind meld, and he mind melds, and when he mind melds, you respec in your head.
You don't
Oh, that's brilliant!
list me one time that's happened.
What?
One time where someone's respect.
They've
the
done
Star
it
Trek
several
universe?
times. They've wiped people's
Name me
memories several
one
times.
episode where
Tasha
someone's
Yar.
respect.
No,
Second
They killed
season.
Tasha Yar.
No, she respect as a Romulan. Are you blind, sir?
No, she respect as a softcore porn actress. But what were we talking about? now I'm confused.
They've wiped people's memories. They could do it.
yeah,
Come
they
on.
could. They just have to figure out a way to make it make sense.
All right. So I'll tell you what. I will allow that if also it clears your friends list and drops you on a planet and you're confused for at least.
Why
3
don't you have a
days.
problem when you do it in Champions?
because that's
I'm not talking
part
about
of the
wiping your
comic book
memory.
world.
Yeah, it's swapping out powers.
They even
It's
use the
not-
term retcon in Champions.
Okay,
Online,
why
which
couldn't they
is-
have like an
it's different.
accelerate? Okay, here's an idea. If you're in engineering and you want to get into tactical, why couldn't you run down to the holodeck and they could just have an accelerated training program that they do through like some sort of montage sequence, and
I
then
know
you
Kung
walk
Fu.
out, and you know kung fu.
But see, that's not respecing. That's just adding additional skills.
Yeah.
That's just learning something new and
You
leveling
don't
up.
forget how to be an
Right.
engineer if you go that route.
Okay, all right. Rob Loach says, what about that episode, The Next Generation, where there's that virus that comes out where they de-evolve and then Captain Picard and Data come back and like Worf's run around trying to eat people up.
All right, you know what? I'm totally okay with that as long as it's still a virus and it happens randomly.
Sorry, guys. I can't raid tonight. I got de-evolved.
That would be pretty cool. All right, so what else we got? What's next?
No, that's pretty much it from the dev chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we got a couple of things to cover. One of them, should we take a second here and talk about some of these really cool screenshots that have come out, or do you want to cover the series of interviews that have been released lately? I'd like to talk about the screenshots just briefly.
Let's talk about the screenshots for a minute. Yeah.
All right. So Zam, the guys over at Zam, who we gave a hard time a little bit ago because
we didn't know that they had evolved from the Alakazam network.
I also didn't know that they existed, and now I still don't.
Right.
Brian still would like to give them a hard time.
But they have some more exclusive screenshots, and the screenshots look probably like the best video game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, starting at the top here, we've got a great battle scene with a kind of an evolved Excelsior.
Great lighting.
Yeah. Would you say that looks like an Excelsior ship?
Well, and that's one of the things is that the Excelsior is not on the ships of the line list.
But it looks like an Excelsior. Not like the Excelsior, but like it's
an Excelsior class, roughly.
Yeah, but it's sure it's in one heck of a battle. Which just looks amazing. We've already covered the Klingon screenshot earlier. Then there's another very crazy explosion-looking one that they've released with a very original series-looking planet in the background.
Yeah. That explosion looks like it might be a warp core
it's a big one.
Frozen.
Yeah. Yep, it's a big one.
But if you look real closely at it, it's distorting the planet behind it. It's distorting the
subspace explosion.
There's a big ripple coming out from it that's rippling everything.
Great.
It's great.
Yeah, that looks like some sort of subspace
moly,
weapon.
This game looks good.
To be honest, though, the particle effects that are present in Champions Online, which same engine, are really impressive. That's one of the things that I found most impressive about that game is the particle engine, the power effects. So seeing things like that in shots of Stowe, I'm really happy to see that. Now, the fourth screenshot, actually out of all of them, is probably the one I'm the most excited about for a couple of reasons. It's just kind of generic, really. It's facing the camera is the back of a Starfleet officer, and it looks like he's shooting an Andorian. He's in what might be like a space station, like almost picture the walls of like a high quality Deep Space Nine type look to them, with a huge window on the outside of that window, a very awesome looking nebula space, like maybe the rim of the Milky Way galaxy. That also might be atmospheric.
It looks like clouds.
This might be a planet side.
Okay, and then that stars up there. Either way, it's just. It looks like a room that has context and a room that has an outside world to it that I'm aware of, and it makes it feel like I'm inside a real room. And I want to know why he's shooting an Andorian, so that's awesome. It looks incredible.
That Andorian wearing a Starfleet uniform?
I can't tell. I'll have to zoom
there's
in.
a possibility. There's a distinct possibility that this is a hint at PvP on the Federation side.
Yeah.
And then the last screenshot they got is confusing to my brain. Picture a Voyager-esque looking ship. Again, a little more evolved.
Yep. Maybe the Discovery that we talked about
before. Little better looking.
It looks like a combination between like a Sovereign-class saucer section on a Voyager.
Yeah, it does look like a little bit maybe like the Discovery ship. And it's either shooting at or being shot by another Federation ship.
Right.
Yeah, that's more Constitution-y.
So we're seeing either strong indications of PvP, or we're seeing there's some sort of internal Star Trek conflict, or just for development testing, they're just screwing around and
it just looked really cool.
Yeah.
Or Wrath of Khan.
Right. What I can only assume is what Rob Loach points out in the chat room is that one of these ships has been taken over by Bajorans and is the duty of any Starfleet officer to destroy.
Just blow it out of the sky. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Good point, Rob Loach.
So 5 screenshots over on Zam. I'll link to them in the show notes, or if you're watching the video version, you just got to see them.
Yeah.
They look amazing.
Yeah. They look great. Phenomenal great.
All right.
So I think the next thing we can talk about is the interview on mmogaming.ru. This is a Russian website, all in Russian, so it's very hard to translate. But this is an interview with a dude named David Stahl. David Stahl, like I mentioned earlier, was our boy. He's the guy that first showed us.
He was our boy
at PAX. He's also he's got a little guest appearance at the beginning of our PAX video.
He does, yeah. He's the guy that says, "Hey, you guys want to play a game?"
Yeah,
or something like that.
And of course we did. So I don't know if he speaks Russian.
I don't know how this went down. Like if they translated it to English or from English to Russian, and then you went through and translated from Russian back to English.
That might explain some of the weirdness.
Yeah, that's great.
one of the top things I want to mention about this interview, though, is that you need to go check out the screenshots that are attached to this article because just like the ones at ZAM, these are pretty incredible. We'll try to, I guess, include a few in the video version of this as well. I don't think we're going to go into too much description, but one of them is a heavily modified Miranda with like armor all over. It looks for being a Miranda, looks pretty cool, pretty awesome.
It's a pretty beefy Miranda. It looks like it's been taken and then they've brought it into the dry dock where they took the original series Enterprise and then they redid it for the movie and made it all like cooler.
It's kind of evil looking.
It's mean. It looks like it's been buffed up to fight the Klingons or something.
Yeah, it really does. But anyway, there's a few. Actually, this is another one that's not got a lot of information, but there are a few
tidbits.
Yeah, that we haven't got confirmation on basically in the past, and now we do. We have it in writing from somebody that's at Cryptic. Even if it's in Russian, I think it still counts as being in writing. So one thing is that there will be only one universe. Just one server that everybody, just like in Champions Online,
thank God,
just heavily
different instances.
Yeah.
So all your buddies, if you want to play together, you have to be on the same instance.
But that's easy.
But that's good and bad. One good part of it is that you don't have to arrange with your friends to make sure that you're all playing on the same server when you create your characters.
That's
huge.
That's huge.
We kind of had to worry about that when we tried to play Warcraft together.
Mm-hmm. Dude, none of us were on the same
That's
servers.
a really big deal because you can't really... Now, as World of Warcraft, have they introduced the ability to move
you can
your
move
characters?
between servers, but it's a pain, and you lose stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that sucks. Now, the only problem
stupid.
is...
Well, Blizzard hates people, though.
Doesn't the one...
We've said this before. Blizzard likes to make sure that you spend as much time as you can doing really mundane, boring crap, and you're not playing a game, you're not being awesome, you're not being a superhero, you're not flying ships, you're not destroying epic bad guys. Even their epic things in World of Warcraft are like those big raid instances that take like 50 guys. You spend like 4 days getting ready, crafting bags, and running quests where some goat guy's like, I need 5 waters, and it takes 3 days to
People
go
are
going to
be saying the same thing about Star Wars: The Old Republic. I had to listen to 3 hours worth of dialogue.
That's what I'm saying. And so I'm just saying, World of Warcraft's
But one thing about World of Warcraft, though, Captain Kirk did a commercial for World of Warcraft. Remember that.
That's true.
A lot of guys did commercials for World of Warcraft,
Mr.
but I
T
don't care.
Did
you know, Captain Kirk also did Priceline commercials. I mean, I'm just saying. I still am not going to use Priceline. It's still cool commercials, though.
Let me ask you this, though. Doesn't that mean, though, if one server goes down, nobody's playing?
That is what it means.
Yeah.
Although you got to assume that these
on,
instance clusters... Actually, this happened to me in Champions Online. Since you bring it up, I did crash out of the game.
Yeah.
And was told that the server was not available, even though...
Yeah, I had that happen once. Like the first,
think it might have
2
been
or 3
you were
days.
also online. We weren't playing together at the time, but you were still online and booking around in Canada when Millennium City went down. So...
So I'm sure when they say one server, they mean one server farm.
Yeah, of course. Now, another bad thing about this, though, potentially, is international customers. Because,
if they're not from America, I'm going to kill them. I'm just going to say straight up.
Or they're going to have like a Europe server, so we won't be able to play with people in Europe.
There are no plans to do that, though, at this time.
It's just one server?
Maybe they'll localize it.
Well, the internet's fast now, Jeremy. See, you might be thinking of the internet from 2 years ago.
Maybe.
Now they have the internet from 2009 where it's fast.
Yeah, it's better now.
People have complained
Those tubes
about
are way
this
bigger
idea,
now.
though. So
yeah,
maybe it's not
see,
something to worry about.
I can see some inherent downsides to it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But honestly, so far it hasn't really been a problem with Champions.
No, not for me.
So I'm thinking we're okay.
They're on the West Coast, and so are we. So
why don't we move on to the next interview?
Well, no, I've got one more quick thing that was mentioned in the.
All right. Okay. In the Russian one. Okay.
Yeah,
go.
in the Russian one.
Go.
They've confirmed that there will be no in-game voice chat support. So it was previously thought that they had confirmed
you don't
that
need
there
it
would
in-game.
be. No, you don't. I mean,
That's
programs
what Ventrilo
like
and Skype before, and
they're usually better than you can get on
TeamSpeak.
in-game anyway.
That's
so it's
true.
not a big
That's
loss.
true.
I mean, we've been using Ventrilo for Champions.
Yeah.
Yep. And as Stowe comes out, people who join in with the
Jupiter
Stowe
Force?
fleet, with the Jupiter Force will you'll have access to that Ventrilo.
Yeah.
So we'll have a common
So
meeting
you can
place.
listen to us talk even more.
Or you can talk to us.
Lucky you.
Man, people just never get old of hearing me
All right.
talk.
Let's get on to the next interview that has the big juicy details.
This is back to Zinc.
Yep.
Craig Zinkovich
He's
has
busy.
told us Klingons will not be available to play right away.
Dun dun dun.
No, there's a huge portion of the Well, I don't.
They
know
say
that that's huge.
a couple hours of gameplay before you unlock the ability to play as a Klingon.
Now, I don't know if this also means you have to play through that much before you can even create a Klingon.
So what? I mean, who cares? I mean, it's the specific thing is that the Klingon content, the gameplay will be locked until after you complete the tutorial.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like we only have to do the tutorial once and then we don't have to do it again. Because currently in Champions, every character you create, you got to go through the stupid tutorial level every time.
Which does take several hours.
Which does. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what?
Well, not several hours.
So
At least
they make a tutorial. They make a tutorial that's, strictly based around the Federation, maybe just to get the basic gameplay that's the same for everybody.
Yep.
Once you get through it, you can create whatever characters you want and go crazy.
Yeah.
That just seems pretty reasonable to me. I don't see an issue with
I
that.
agree.
And Recon, again, one of the community managers over there, basically came out and posted that they're doing this so that they can focus on more after the tutorial content. Because really, you're only going to play the tutorial once.
And then you
if
get through
they
it.
implement a
Hopefully.
skipping mechanism.
Although
which
if you want to
hopefully
create a
they
new
will.
Federation
I
character,
hope
you
so.
probably might still have to go through the training again.
I hope not. They've already mentioned that they would like to make it skippable.
Well, they had to do that to Champions too.
Yeah.
Boy,
I got 3 characters locked in training that I just do not want to get through.
because you don't want to do the
That's how
tutorial
I am
again.
too. I've
But
got
here's
I've
the
got
thing is-
Kenny Rogers that I've leveled up, and everyone else I just don't care
that's
about.
what I did with the real STD. I mean, it's not a perfect character, and I've got a couple of ones that I'd love to be able to play.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
gonna level it up.
You're not going to bother with the tutorial.
No. Why?
I got enough to do with the real STD.
You're
Nikola
one character,
Tesla
yeah.
and the Power of Love, they got to hang.
Yeah.
That's great names for characters, by the way.
And Golden Powers.
Now, see, in 3 years' time, or even in 1 year from now, nobody's going to be talking about the tutorial. They're not going to be telling their friends how cool the tutorial is.
You just want to get through it.
Yeah, they're going to be talking about content that you actually experience on a daily basis, space combat, and
My guess is the tutorial is
Genesis
basically going to be
system.
2 hours of figuring out how to work with communications, making stuff in space combat.
Right.
And then they're going to dump you into the game. It's
And
great.
then, it might even be that when you first load up the game, you can't even create a character. You might be stuck with a nameless
tutorial
red
level.
shirt for
I
a
would
tutorial.
assume so.
That would be cool.
That would be cool, actually.
You'll do it once and you're out of it.
The
And
only
then you're done.
the only complaint I can see is if you there are people like they go to the cons and they dress up as Klingons. Like there's some people that are just really into the Klingons.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you've been waiting to play as a Klingon, then you might be a little PO'd. But even then you're like,
Oh, come on. You're
all right,
waiting a
no
few
biggie.
hours.
You're like, no biggie.
Seriously?
I got to imagine.
Seriously, what Klingon fan is going to go into it and go, oh, I'm playing a Star Trek game as another non-Klingon Star Trek character? How horrible.
Right.
Dude,
Right.
you
come on, we're
obviously
Trekkies.
not read the forums because there are people that are saying, I'm not going to play this game if this is how it's going to roll out.
If the first 2 hours of the tutorial can't be
Yes.
But-
Even
but
if they
like-
can play thousands and thousands of hours as a Klingon after that.
But let's say this. Chris,
Yes, sir.
you like flying.
Yes, sir.
You like games where you can fly. That's like half of the appeal for Champions for you, right?
Yeah.
So in the tutorial level, can you fly?
No.
No.
So same deal.
That is an excellent point, Brian.
You just get right through it and you get to the meat of the game where you spend the 8,000 hours and that's all there is to it. So really this is a million times better because maybe you only have to do it once.
Now, and the other thing is they've already said that they're
What is it, Jeremy? Come on.
The comparison is made to Lord of the Rings Online has a thing called Monster Play that you unlock when your main character gets to level 10. You can then play as a monster in PvP zones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People have been worried that that's going to be what the Klingons are. But it's already been confirmed that there is complete Klingon storylines. There are house battles. There
Right.
are thousands of missions and raids and all sorts of things coming out for the Klingons. It's not going to be an
It's just not
afterthought.
it's
frankly,
not the tutorial.
At
That's
the end
it.
of the day, you're going to get out of the tutorial, and either you're going to go with a Klingon or you're going to stick with the Federation. But
Yeah.
either way, all you're going to do is kill Bajorans.
That's right.
Right. We can all agree on that.
We
Yep.
really can.
Easy peasy.
All right, so is there anything else we
Lemon
wanted to
squeezy.
cover in this episode, or should we...
Zink also mentioned in the Eurogamer interview that beta is on the doorstep.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
They've already got people outside Cryptic, friends and family most likely, already playing the game.
Yep, that's a
So,
big one.
Really?
Closed beta.
We're going to be playing it so soon, you guys. It's going to freaking freak you out.
It is.
Your freaking freak will freak.
I would even consider
Fly
a
your freak
possibility
flag.
that by next episode, there's a chance we could be in beta.
You're crapping me right
No,
there.
I think that it's that close. With how much information they've been giving us about everything.
Oh, yeah, and the way they're pumping out the screenshots. Oh, I wanted to
They
mention
are,
this.
yeah.
Cryptic is obviously ramping up to something, and they're
Yeah.
doing it fantastically. The way they're doing these interviews, the way they're handing out these screenshots
They're building it up.
It is the way you build hype virally in today's
Yeah.
online communities.
It
they're
made
doing
us make a
great.
podcast. Come on.
Come on. Come on, people.
All right, so obviously we're going to cover that if that happens next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, here, there's one that just came up in the chat room.
So we got
Nicedo.
a little tidbit from a guy. We got to keep his name secret to protect his
okay.
identity. But basically, the little inside scoop is that there will be a particular raid. In this particular raid, Q, which is awesome, will send you back in time to fight in 2409.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Wolf 359.
Never heard of it.
So
Really, you get to play at Wolf 359?
yeah, or thereabouts. Yeah.
So it's a Borg confrontation?
Yes. And apparently there will be just tons and tons of destroyed ships, and you can hang out and check them all out and play in that. There will be some sort of an instance or a raid.
You
or
guys,
something
what
to
am I
see
going
that.
to do? This
gonna-
is going to ruin my life.
Yeah.
I am not going
yeah.
to be able to work. I am going to have to get a divorce. My son will not be able to grow up with a father because I will be playing Star Trek Online. And that is a serious situation I am facing. And it's not even kidding. It's really going to happen. Come on. Do I hang out in the 24th century where there's Borgs and ships and make amazing things happen? Yes. That's an answer. That's a question that has an answer built into it.
See, no, and this is exactly what I was saying earlier. Does anyone really feel that sort of compelling thing on things like World of Warcraft?
No.
No. Heavens no. It's just not that exciting.
Well, they might, but they're weird.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. There's nothing exciting.
Maybe
about that.
EverQuest,
This
though.
is
There's some weirdos playing EverQuest.
no.
You
They're
know
just
who
weird
you
people.
are.
That yeah. we do know who they are as well. So yeah. Okay. I think that pretty much wraps up
I
what we
think
got
we're
for
wrapped.
this one.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, nice little quickie tidbit of all the good stuff that's been happening the last
Absolutely.
week. So
Yeah.
we're going to be back again next week, I believe, assuming something's happening, which it kind of sounds like stuff is happening.
As long as they keep
So-
making some announcements and there's news to cover, we'll have an episode every week.
We will be here.
I'm pumped as pumped can be.
Would you say that you might even be stoked?
Nice one, man.
Good.
That
Hey,
was
you know
nice.
wait a minute. That's the name of it. Oh my gosh, I just got it.
Hey, thanks everybody. If you want to talk with us further, you can head over to jupitercolony.com. There's a forum in there. Not called Stoked.
Not yet.
It's called Cast
We'll
a Blast.
add a Stoked one.
Cast a Blast
talking there.
is our old nerd show. We
It's
used
a
to do reviews.
sci-fi
Yeah,
and,
sci-fi.
and comics and stuff like that. There, go ahead and chat in that forum, and that'll do for now. If you have any inside tidbits, you got any scoops, you work at Cryptic, you are friends with someone who worked at Cryptic, and you stole some software, and you want to tell someone that's crazy about it. I'm not saying you should do that.
No, don't do that.
If you happen to have. We are members of the press. So go ahead and go to jupiterbroadcasting.com where you can find the show and all of the other shows we do. There's a contact us button. Boom. Lots of ways to get a hold of us in there.
Yep.
Exciting.
And we ought to mention if you are playing Champions to sort of scratch your itch for now.
Yeah.
Whenever we get like a big online event where we're going to be playing for a couple hours, we usually post on our Facebook fan page over at facebook.com/JupiterBroadcasting. And of course, it's a good place to go ahead and join up because when Stoked does launch, we'll be coordinating through there as well.
That's right.
For the
you can
Jupiter fleet.
join up with the Jupiter Force.
Yeah.
and Champions
Force?
Online. Yeah.
Is that what we went
Jupiter
with?
Forces and Champions.
Not fleet. Yeah. Jupiter
It'll be
Force.
Jupiter Force, I think.
It's
in
the Jupiter
Stowe as
Force
well.
fleet.
Yeah. We figure it fits both games. So,
Yeah, it does.
all right.
Fantastic, guys.
Good show, guys.
Thanks. I tried hard.
Later, everybody.